A small glass jar sits quietly on a windowsill. Inside the jar is a green plant cutting. The leaves look fresh and healthy. But something about the scene feels unusual. There is no soil in the jar at all. For many gardeners, that immediately raises a question. Plants need soil, don't they? Yet over the next few days, something interesting begins to happen. Thin white roots slowly appear beneath the stem. First, they are barely visible. They're small threads reaching down into the water. Then, after a couple of weeks, those tiny threads grow longer and stronger. The plant begins to look fuller. The leaves stay bright. In some cases, the plant even looks healthier than before. If you have always believed that soil is required for plants to survive, this can feel confusing, almost seems backward. But if this feels confusing, you're not doing anything wrong. Many gardeners assume soil is the only way plants can grow. That belief has been repeated for many years. However, after watching houseplants closely over long periods of time, many experienced growers notice something interesting. Certain plants adapt very well to growing in water alone. Today, we're going to explore 7 indoor plants that can quietly thrive this way. Plants that can grow in simple jars of water without soil. And along the way, we'll also understand why this happens. Before explaining why this works, it helps to understand something about where many houseplants originally come from. When we picture plants growing outdoors, we often imagine dry soil and garden beds. But many common houseplants did not evolve in those conditions. Instead, they come from humid forests and tropical environments. In these places, the ground stays moist for long periods of time. Some plants grow along riverbanks where their roots constantly touch water. Others grow on fallen logs or tree trunks where rainwater collects around them because of this natural environment. Their roots are already used to moisture. In fact, their roots often spend much of their time in very damp conditions. So when a cutting from one of these plants is placed into water, the plant does not always struggle. In many cases, it simply adapts. Instead of searching through soil for moisture, the roots grow directly into the water. They slowly adjust to the new environment and continue their work. For beginner gardeners, and especially for seniors who prefer simpler plant care, this can make things surprisingly easy. There is no soil to spill, no heavy bags to lift, because the roots are visible through the glass. It becomes much easier to observe how the plant is doing. Sometimes the simplest methods allow us to learn the most. A good place to begin is with one of the most common houseplants found in homes around the world, a plant many people already recognize: pot. This gentle trailing vine is often seen growing in hanging baskets or climbing along shelves. It has heart-shaped leaves and soft green vines that grow easily in many indoor spaces. Pothos is known for being very forgiving. It tolerates low light. It survives occasional mist watering. And interestingly, it also adapts beautifully to water. When a small cutting from a pothos vine is placed in a jar of water, the first changes often appear within several days. Near the cut end of the stem, tiny white points begin to form. Those small points slowly stretch into roots. During the next few weeks, those roots grow longer and stronger. They begin to curl gently through the water, creating soft white strands that fill the jar. Meanwhile, the leaves above continue to grow as usual. For many older gardeners, this moment becomes a small discovery. The first time they see a pothos thriving in nothing but water, it quietly challenges what they believed about plants. Soil is helpful, but sometimes it is not required. Now here's where things become even more interesting. Some plants that grow well in water may already be sitting in your home right now. Lucky bamboo is a perfect example. Despite the name, lucky bamboo is not actually bamboo. It is a plant that naturally grows in moist environments. Because of that, it adapts very easily to water containers. You may have seen lucky bamboo arranged in glass jars filled with pebbles and water. The stems stand upright while the roots spread slowly below. As long as the water stays fresh and the plant receives gentle light, lucky bamboo can remain healthy for a very long time. Another surprising group of plants includes certain kitchen herbs. For example, herbs like mint or basil can sometimes grow new roots when their stems are placed in water. Over time, those roots begin to spread through the container. Watching this happen often feels like a small discovery. It's something simple, yet quietly fascinating. When beginners see this for the first time, their understanding of plants often shifts a little. Gardening begins to feel less complicated, but there is one misunderstanding that appears quite often when people begin growing plants in water. Many assume that once a plant is placed into a jar, it requires almost no care at all. And while water growing is certainly simple, the plant still depends on clean water to stay healthy. When water sits too long in a container, it slowly loses oxygen. The roots begin to struggle in that environment. You might notice the water becoming cloudy, the roots starting to look dull instead of bright and firm. Fortunately, the solution is very simple. Refreshing the water every week or two is usually enough to keep the plant comfortable. This gentle habit restores oxygen to the water and keeps the container clean. It is not a demanding routine, just a small moment of attention now and then. Next, there are two plants that many people find especially enjoyable to grow in water, because of how beautiful they look in clear containers. The first is the spider plant. Spider plants produce small offshoots that hang from the main plant like little stars. These baby plants can easily grow new roots when placed in water. Once inside a glass container, their roots begin to spread like delicate threads. The second plant is often called a wandering vine. These trailing plants grow long stems with small, colorful leaves. When placed in water, their roots grow quickly and create soft patterns inside the jar. For many seniors, this becomes part of the enjoyment, watching the roots grow day by day. Instead of hiding beneath the soil, the plant's progress becomes visible. Quiet changes that unfold slowly over time, however. Even though these plants grow in water, their environment still matters. Light plays an important role. Most water-grown plants prefer bright but gentle light. A windowsill that receives indirect sunlight is often ideal. Temperature also makes a difference. Homes in cooler climates may notice slower root growth during winter months. The plant may appear to pause for a while in warmer homes, especially during spring and summer. Our root growth often becomes faster and more active. Understanding this helps. Gardeners stay patient. Sometimes a plant is simply responding to the season. Now, we come to two plants that many gardeners are surprised to see growing successfully in water for very long periods. Peace lilies are a good example. These elegant plants are known for their deep green leaves and white flowers. While they are often grown in soil, they can also adapt to water containers when the roots are carefully cleaned. Over time, roots spread through the water and continue supporting the plant. Another resilient plant is the philodendron. Share many qualities with pothos. Their stems grow easily, and their roots adapt quickly to moisture. Some gardeners have kept philodendron cuttings in water for many months, even years, while the plant continues to grow. This discovery is often surprising. Many people assume growing plants in water is only temporary, but in some cases, it becomes a long-term method. Before trying this at home, there is one gentle safety detail worth mentioning. The container you choose matters. Light plastic cups can tip over easily, especially near windows or busy areas of the home. Heavier glass jars or containers are often more stable. Wide containers also make it easier to refill water without spilling. Keeping the container clean helps prevent odors and keeps the roots comfortable, for seniors especially. Simple and stable setups make plant care far more enjoyable. When everything is easy to reach and easy to maintain, gardening becomes relaxing rather than tiring. And after watching these plants grow quietly over time, many gardeners notice something unexpected. Success often comes from doing less. A clear jar, gentle light, fresh water now and then. That may be all a plant needs, instead of constantly adjusting soil or watering schedules. Water growing invites us to simply observe, to notice how roots develop, how leaves respond to light, how small changes appear slowly. Over weeks, if you're comfortable sharing, I'd be curious to know if you have ever tried growing a plant in water before. Some gardeners discover it accidentally when a cutting begins to root in a glass. Those small discoveries often become the most memorable ones in the end. Gardening does not always require complicated systems or constant effort. Sometimes the most peaceful gardens grow quietly on a windowsill in a simple jar of water, and often the healthiest plants appear when we allow nature to follow its own rhythm. Sometimes the garden improves when we simply step back and observe.